the daily wake up. Visualize your future, behave in ways needed to create your future, execute your new behaviors to fulfill your mission. We are mission chasers.
Good morning, gentlemen. This is John Vickers, owner of Explosive Performance Academy and creator of the Courageous Men program. We help men like you become the most elite versions of themselves through fitness, faith, family, and finances. And this is the Daily Wake Up. Well, gentlemen, sometimes there's a time where we have to be very, very adaptable. So yesterday, per usual, I was recording this podcast and recording it on my phone, recording it on my computer, my phone for the YouTube video, my computer for the podcast, the audio. And in the middle of recording it, I look down at my computer and I don't see the lines that show the volume stuff. I don't see those moving, so it's frozen. My computer's been like messed up. Zoom has been weird. Some stuff just hasn't been working properly. I don't know what it is. It's frustrating. You guys know what it's like when something's not working properly and how frustrating it is. So I'm looking down at the screen on the podcast and I see those lines aren't moving and I'm like, oh shit, like what's going on right now? What's going on? So after I'm done recording the podcast, I then try to upload it and an error comes up. I'm like, fuck, man, like what the hell? Like I got to get this podcast out. I told you guys I'm doing this 90 days in a row. And yesterday was episode 60. So I think that's 50 days in a row. I have to look, but I got to keep the streak going, and that includes putting out the audio version of the podcast and not just the video version of the podcast, because I just got to keep that consistency going. So I'm like, shit, man, like what are we doing here? Like what do I have to do? So because the podcast wouldn't open, I started getting a little rabbit hole of what has to be done to convert the audio from a video into audio again, just by itself, so I can upload it as a podcast. So I go online, just searched up how to convert audio or video into audio and figured it out, right? It took a little bit of time, and the actual podcast, the audio version of the podcast, didn't get uploaded until later last night, which made me feel off, but got it done. So there have been other times, like in my life, where things were not as they needed to be, and there had to be adjustments. I had to shift, but early on, like I was too damn stubborn to shift and understand that these shifts are necessary, and I should just do the same thing that I've been doing. And as I tell you this, like there's another gym. I'm not going to name any names. I'm not going to name anything like that, but there's another gym that I've had a couple conversations with the owner, and he's talking about switching from one company to his own company. And come to find out, the company that he was like franchised under literally didn't give him anything except for the name. So he's paying money a month for the name, but there was no marketing resources. There was nothing besides the name. Supposedly, I don't know if that's 100% true or not, but that's just what I've heard. And I had a conversation with him, and he said he's got a couple things that he wants to do. A couple different classes he wants to run, but he just doesn't have the time to do it or the space to do it. And I'm like, what do you mean? Like, what do you mean you don't have the time or the space to do it? Like, he's been running things the same way for at least 5 years now, where there's only one class going on at a time. One class going on at a time with no overlap. Like literally the class before gets done 5 to 10 minutes early before the other class comes in. So there's no overlap at all. But there's space in this gym. There's space in this gym to do a lot of stuff. And there's a lot of available time as well, like throughout the day. And he plans on transitioning out of the franchise, but it hasn't happened yet. Why? I don't know. And there has been no new like classes or anything that is open ever. It's all been the same thing except for one little thing, which it is what it is, but he just has not shifted anything. There's a way to think outside the box. There's a way to shift away from what you've currently been doing. And that's what a lot of people struggle with. And I've struggled with it myself. Like thinking outside the box and creating something new and shifting away from your old model. Like sometimes the most difficult thing to do is changing what you've been doing for so long, because it's scary, right? It's scary. Sometimes we just struggle with this idea of change. But if you want to grow, if you want to be different, if you want to change what you're currently doing and change the trajectory that you're currently on, then you have to make adjustments and you have to shift. You have to do something a little bit different. You cannot continue to do the same thing and expect to get different results, because you never will. The same thing that you're doing right now is not going to be, it should not be the same thing that you do a year from now. There should be some shifting, there should be some adjusting, there should be some type of movement to help you continue to grow. And that's what a lot of people really struggle with. Again, because they're scared. They're scared to make a change. Change is scary. There's always this thought in the back of your mind of, if I change this, what are these people going to say? If I change this, what are these people going to say? But you can't fucking worry about what other people are going to say, because you know inside of you that there has to be a shift. You know that. You know there has to be a shift, and sometimes you just have to take that leap of faith. If you lose a little bit of money because of it in the front end, because in the back end, more than likely that shift is going to be better for you and your company and your business, and also better for your clients. So don't continue to do the same thing 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years down the road if it's not getting you where you want it to go. You have to make a shift, and you have to make a shift early. Just like with this podcast, right? Just like with this podcast, I was going to be like, oh, fuck it. Like, let me just do the video. We're not going to have audio today. But then I'm like, no, like I said I was going to do this 90 days in a row at least. So it has to be both video and audio. And it's simple to do when my computer doesn't freeze up. But I just had to make that adjustment. I had just had to shift, and I just had to change it up. So I was able to pull the audio from the video and then upload it as an audio, as a podcast, and then I was able to put it out later. It was a shift, adjust. It didn't work out how I wanted it to, but I got it, and I did it, and it's out there, right? It's out there. So you're getting your daily dose of the daily wake up, and my streak is still going on, because ultimately, had I not put up the audio yesterday, that streak ends. So I want you to, we need to have structure in our lives, but sometimes we have to adjust. We have to adjust, we have to make changes, we have to shift into doing something different. You have to make sure that you continue to shift when change is necessary. That is the big thing. Shift when change is necessary. Now, If fitness is something that you need to make a little shift from because it's not working the way that you need it to go, and you're doing the same thing that you did back when you were in high school or back what you did a couple of years ago and you still don't feel good, guys, I got you. The Lean Amends Playbook will be perfect for you. Just go in the description below, click on the link. You can get that playbook right there. Or you can apply for our High Performer 16 Intensive, where we're going to take you step-by-step guidance on how to completely change your life. Go ahead and go in the description. Make sure you give us a follow, subscribe, and I look forward to talking to you tomorrow. Remember, chase your fucking mission. Have a great one.